Though all men be equally frail before the world, the differences between them are terrifying. It might be possible that the world itself is without meaning. Suffering is part of our training program for becoming wise. Don't be afraid of death, be afraid of the unlived life. I believe in the fundamental truth of all great religions of the world. There are some things that it is better to begin than to refuse, even though the end may be dark. Success awaits those who steadfastly commit to any requisite sacrifice. It's good to do uncomfortable things. It's weight training for life. When one experiences truth, the madness of finding fault with others disappears. If you think life is magical or life is hard, either way you are right. Your thoughts are the source of reality. Truth is not as pompous and romantic as myth, but it has the immeasurable value of being the truth. Even the finest sword plunged into salt water will eventually rust. You just have to go after what you want, and if it doesn't want you back, then so be it. It doesn't deserve you anyways. And there are really never endings, happy or otherwise. At times, it can feel like the loneliest place on earth, because it's just us, alone with our unanswered prayers. What the society thinks is of no interest to me. All that's important is how I see myself. I know who I am. I know the value of my work. One day in my shoes and a day for me in your shoes. The beauty of travel lies in the ease and willingness to be more open. There's more to logic than identifying logical fallacies. A path doesn't appear on its own. We've to make it, and we can make it. The beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. Conformity teaches us the value of our precious worth. There are times I wish I were invisible, which is silly, since I do everything I can to stand out. Sadness is sometimes the start to eternal happiness. Everything will be all right in the end, so if it is not all right, it is not the end. All sins are forgiven once you start making a lot of money. Our power lies in our small daily choices, one after another, to create eternal ripples of a life well lived. Don't always wish to be like others. Always aspire to be better than them. It is impossible to build one's own happiness on the unhappiness of others. This perspective is at the heart of Buddhist teachings. We spend money that we do not have, on things we do not need, to impress people who do not care. Walk at your own pace, don't run after others because your journey may not be the same. Never underestimate the power you have to take your life in a new direction. Live to revel in just another twilight. Life may sink and disappear along with the sunset, never to rise again. The only way to survive eternity is to be able to appreciate each moment. Do not wait for the last judgment. It comes every day. The truth knocks on the door and you say, "Go away, I'm looking for the truth," and so it goes away, puzzling. Living never wore one so much as the effort not to live. Life is like an onion. You peel it off one layer at a time, and sometimes you weep. They're just words, and words alone don't really mean anything. It's what you feel and what you believe when you say them that matter. Wisdom comes to us when it can no longer do any good. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve. The more details, depth, and thought you put into your ideas, the more valuable they become. If people make fun of you, that probably means you're doing something right. The world is already full of critics. To stand out, be an encourager. Your future is in direct proportion to what you do in the present. Finding the lesson behind every adversity will be the one important thing that helps get you through it. There is no greater sorrow than to recall happiness in times of misery. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Stop doing what is easy. Start doing what is right. Let the speaker speak truly and the judge decide justly. A wind that blows aimlessly is no good to anyone. Remember that you are only alive now. This is the only moment you have. Embrace it. We don't get to choose what is true. We only get to choose what we do about it. I could agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong. My destination is no longer a place, rather a new way of seeing. Do not confuse healthy detachment with avoidance. In my opinion, the difference between the two is acceptance and acknowledgement. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. When your intentions are pure, so too will be your success. Do not fear to be eccentric in opinion, for every opinion now accepted was once eccentric. I know because I read, your mind is not a cage. It's a garden, and it requires cultivating. Trustful people are the pure at heart, as they are moved by the zeal of their own trustworthiness. Go after what you want in life. Don't just talk about it. Take a step. Run. We all have the beast in us, Bill, and it is up to us to control it. Of all sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these, "It might have been." Baseless victimhood is usually the last stage before outright aggression. Many people succeed when others do not believe in them, but rarely does a person succeed when he does not believe in himself. The distance between insanity and genius is measured only by success. At some point, we all look up and realize we are lost in a maze. Wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are. If a craftsman wants to do good work, he must first sharpen his tools. Because sometimes people who seem good end up being not as good as you might have hoped. Cut not the wings of your dreams, for they are the heartbeat and the freedom of your soul. A dead thing can go with the stream, but only a living thing can go against it. If you're not failing every now and again, it's a sign you're not doing anything very innovative. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Fairy tales are more than true, not because they tell us that dragons exist, but because they tell us that dragons can be beaten. The money you make is a symbol of the value you create. Sometimes wisdom came from strange places, even from giant teenage goldfish. To me, all research is exploring the universe, understanding it deeper, one finding at a time. The flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. The art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. Common sense in an uncommon degree is what the world calls wisdom. I'd rather have cancer than a dishonest heart, which isn't being pious, just practical. Cancer may cool you, but the other's sure to. Curiosity is an engine of life that adds light and warmth to the everyday hustle, and questions are a spark needed to start it. I is for integrity. Be honest with yourself and others. Notice the difference between being in control and needing control. Settle, for sure and universally, what conduct will promote the happiness of a rational being. The best lies are based on the truth, at least in part. Emotion often outweighs intelligence, while intuition renders life surprisingly fluent and enjoyable. It takes more effort to avoid the truth than it does to face it. In the haunted house of life, art is the only stair that doesn't creak. There's a whole category of people who miss out by not allowing themselves to be weird enough. One lie has the power to tarnish 1,000 truths. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's watching, doing as you say you would do. You'd challenge me and lose. You know it, I know it, but you'd still do it. Sometimes your sense of honor confuses the hell out of me. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. A preoccupation with the next world clearly shows an inability to cope credibly with this one. Seiran Adi and also I shall sing a sweeter song tomorrow. Your life begins to change the day you take responsibility for it. If those at your top are weak, your bottom will be rotten. Never give up. Things that you keep dreaming about will happen one day.